Good afternoon, folks. It's John Pettipas. It's 33 minutes past 12 noon on noon hour, Wednesday, the 15th day of September 2021. It's my second video today, and it's a very important and special video. The title of the video is Hard Times and Gratitude. I just had a wonderful gentleman and his equally wonderful wife leave here. They brought me a beautiful box of pickles, lovely casserole lasagna, and a pail of soup. They're fantastic people, and he's extraordinary in his kindness. Both of them. They take, and this gentleman's going to be 84 on the 28th day of February of 2022, and he doesn't look it. And he made a comment. Hard times. This guy's not a preachy guy. He's one of the most Christian, him and his wife are two of the most Christian people I know, and they're not preachy people. Their virtue is shown for their kindness to people. They take in, he said, people don't know what hard times are. This gentleman, his mother died young, and he was raised by his grandparents. Somebody else I speak to in Alberta, he was raised by his grandparents. There's something about the people from Guysborough County. They are, my God, they're good people. They are really extraordinary good people. Both these gentlemen are from the Canso area. One lives in Cape Breton, him and his wife. Another guy and his wife and family live up in northern Alberta. And the kindness and goodness. So he said, I was raised by my grandparents. I had one pair of pants. One pair of pants, dungarees, and he washed them, and he'd hang them over the stove and line over the stove. They're wood-burning stoves then. So he was born in 1938, and he very well remembers World War II. He hanged the pants over the stove to dry, and he couldn't go outside till they dried, and then he'd go back outside to work, pick berries, play ball, whatever. Okay? He remembers them picking berries. We had a wonderful family across Pius and Barbara Maddie's daughters, and little brother Barry came along later. My used to say, if there's a berry in the field, the Maddie girls will find it. Berry in the field, they start with wild strawberries and blueberries, and raspberries come on quick. I think it's actually strawberries, raspberries, then blueberries, and blackberries, and after cranberries. If a berry in the field, anyway, he said, they go out and pick every kind of berries there was, and grandmother would make preserves. They didn't have freezers then. They make preserves. They put them in bottles, saved the jars from coffee jar or whatever bottles they had, and they put a little bit of paraffin wax and hop and tied up in some wax paper under it, heavy paper, and they put them in a cool cellar of the pantry. People had pantries then. And he said, even in the spring of the year, after the snow had melted, out in the low areas, there were cranberries still left in the field they could find, and after the leaves had fallen off, and they'd pick those cranberries and bring them, because cranberries is a great source of vitamin C. So even after the snow melted at the late March, in those years, sometimes tough ones, it wasn't until early April, but they get the cranberries before they get too warm, and they picked the remaining cranberries and frozen. He said, if you're lucky, you got home from school, the tide was out. He went out with a shovel and little pail, and he got some clams. He'd bring them in the house. The grandmother would make them clam chowder. He said they didn't have any cream or milk to go in this because they didn't have milk in the house. Where they were, they didn't have a cow. They didn't have the land to feed a cow. So they had the clam chowder. She'd have a little bit of pork bacon scrap to put in it for oil, grease, extra flavor, and some potatoes, and the water to make the broth. And that was their clam chowder and be their supper. Okay. He also pointed out there were ration cards. What ration cards was a card. I've often heard the expression ration cards, and he said he often didn't have enough money to use them. And at first that was a subsidy. He says, no. He said, John, Granddad would they come in the mail. There was a ration card. You get 3 pounds of butter for a given period. Remember, they didn't have a cow, so they couldn't make their own, didn't have cream, they couldn't churn their own butter. they must have lived in town, okay? And so anyway, they didn't have, like in a country where you'd have a cow. So anyway, 3 pounds of butter, and often Granddad would have to give some of them away to somebody else because they didn't have the money to buy the butter. So the ration card wasn't butter for free. It wasn't food stamps or welfare, nothing like that there, food aid. It was a ration card enabled you. You showed a card to the merchants where you're dealing for groceries, and they'd sell you 3 pounds of butter for that, saves you for a month or something. And he maybe could only buy 2 pounds. He had to give the other one to somebody else that had a bigger family or had the cash at least to buy the butter. They could use the butter too, because butter was used a lot and people made homemade bread. And then butter seemed to go with everything. Put butter on the potatoes and so on. Anyway, they turnip, whatever. The reason butter was rationed during World War II, it was, another thing was sugar. So what else was rationed? Sugar. I knew the sugar part, because ladies' nylon socks were pretty well impossible to get during World War II, because the nylon was used for the paratroopers, the parachutes and the paratroopers fighting Hitler and Mussolini, the Nazis in Europe. And so the nylon was rationed. Now, in food items, I know the late Merritt Feltmate, saintly Merritt Feltmate in Goshen, used to make hard candy, not chocolate candy, hard candy with fructose from corn or corn syrup. And they take that and they use that as this sweetener, because sugar was rationed, and now chocolate was rationed because the sugar went with chocolate to make chocolate bars, and that was part of the soldiers' food package. So butter was rationed, sugar was rationed, also just mentioned a minute ago, chocolate was rationed. But so he could remember the stamps coming in, and Granddad didn't have enough money to use all the ration cards and would give them to somebody else. And this gentleman has never forgot that. After Christmas or after Thanksgiving, his turkeys and special at Sobeys, he'll go and buy several of them. His wife will work. They'll make rolls. They'll make stuffing. The potatoes, you made vegetables, and they'll cook these. They'll bring them to people in need, people they want to help out. Somebody lost a husband or wife. They're just fantastic, and a fantastic cook. You couldn't buy food. It'd be a damn good restaurant that has food as good as what they make, and with the generosity of the Christian heart, give. In fact, I got to tell you a little side story on this gentleman. They take in a guy over in Port Beacon and Port Hilford. His son was great to catch rabbits, but the young guy didn't drive. So the father get back in from the big boats, offshore boats, on the factory freezer boat, and shrimp boat, and he'd come down with son's rabbits. And I said, Jim's not he kind of great customer. I said he'll buy stuff when he's helping out different organizations, doing stuff for Knights of Columbus or the one at fire departments or legions or Holland dances, whatever. And he looked at me and he said, because he was on one shift, they'd make breakfast and dinner and supper and snack after supper, sandwiches or big scones done with cheese or meats in between. And he said, the buddy from over, I think Harple was his name, buddy from over Fisherman's Harbour, Port Beacon and Way, said, I tell you, we don't eat as well now on the ship since Jim's retired. And that's a true story. We don't eat as well on the ship since Jim's retired. So I've said it's going to be a brief video, and it's going to be a brief video. And the title of it again is Hard Times and Gratitude. Hard Times and Gratitude. And they take and there's still people out there have hard times. There's still need in our area. Okay, but that it's nothing like these people grew up in the truly great Depression. This gentleman was born 1938, a year before World War II, and grew up through World War II. Those people, it's gratitude. Say gratitude is the fruit of fine cultivation. People appreciate something, and there's people that really don't appreciate how much we have in this country. Be you in my blessed beloved United States of America, be you in Canada, Be you in God's country, Cape Breton Island? Be you in one of the finest places on God's earth, our beloved province of Nova Scotia? Every state in the Union, how much material goods people have compared in food. There was some in the Dale Carnegie book one time. There's a guy that was lost at sea, and he was always happy no matter what happened. His wife got illness, something happened to one of the kids, lost his job temporarily, I'll find a new one. Nothing true, that guy. Something like Aunt Hattie. Just totally unflappable. And totally unflappable. There's a lady's house in Pictou a few weeks ago on a Sunday, about 3 weeks ago, and wonderful lady. She lost a fantastic husband that helped a tremendous amount of people, and she's a wonderful lady too. Things the Pictou County Singers, and daughter was there, and I said, you remind me of Aunt Hattie. Totally unflappable. Nothing that happens flaps her. Okay, so this gentleman anyway in the Dale Carnegie book. Example. He said, why is it you're so happy? Nothing gets you down, he said, I went through, I was lost at sea, I didn't have water, I was hungry, I was getting dehydrated, and I got cold and rescued. And as long as I have something to eat and water to drink, something to drink, I don't mean liquor, water to drink or glass of milk or whatever, like I drink water too, mind you, and something to say again, the crust there. Why was he so happy? And he said, as long as I have water to keep me from my thirst, something to eat in my stomach so I'm not hungry, and a little bit of warmth or dry clothes, I'm happy. So, man, oh man, if people knew how some people lived, I think there'd be a lot more people with gratitude. So I want to thank wonderful chef and his equally wonderful wife. They're both wonderful cooks and picklers. And remind all of us, me, the fiddler, kitty cat, people just went by in the car. There's not one of us, a truck went up the road a second ago, there's not one of us that this land, North America, land of plenty, doesn't need a reminder of gratitude. Okay, and how hard times people have gone through to get us to this point. And with that, I gotta go. It's John Pettipas. I want you to share this video far and wide. It's now about 70 minutes before 12 noon on 12 noon hour, on 1 o'clock at noon hour, on Wednesday, the 15th day of September. And I wish you all the best and God bless. And we thank God for wonderful people like Jim and his lovely wife Marie. And all you good people out there, there's lots of good people out there, but these people are exceptional. And thank you. All the best. God bless. Bye for now. Share the video far and wide, please. Thank you. Press the subscribe button if you're so kind.